Welcome back to the Fulfilled Female Entrepreneur Podcast. It's your host, Cassandra Rosa. I am a certified coach and healer and intuitive business coach, and the mission behind this podcast is to help you to create a fulfilling life in business. Today, I'm really excited to be talking about tapping into your intuitive power. Welcome back to another episode. I'm so excited to be talking about the power of our intuition today and giving you some tools and some tips and tricks to step into your intuitive power. There have been, I would say, the vast majority of my clients that were experiencing the personal development journey, feeling this call to step into a higher purpose, start an impactful business. And they also, in the midst of this, were experiencing their spiritual awakening. They started to lean into this curiosity of their intuition, of their spiritual nature, of the power of the universe, the power of their internal guidance system and their higher self. Our intuition really is our internal guidance system. Let's talk a little bit more about that, shall we? So, our intuition has this beautiful power to guide us in making big life decisions. So, how this all interacts into this beautiful thing called life is that many of us go through our spiritual awakenings when we're in this stage in life where we're lost and confused about what we're supposed to do with our lives. I love to call them the now what moments. I wrote a whole book about it. And in this book, I talk about my experience of trying to figure out what I want to do with my life in university. And halfway through my degree, being like, now what? I feel like there's a higher purpose for me. And when that started to unfold in the coming years, I started to really have these experiences that were unexpected, that were really opening up my intuition. I've talked about them in other intuitive episodes, so you can listen to those, but really about, being in a certification course and seeing energy and being really curious about meditation and Reiki and all these beautiful modalities that just started to pile on up in front of me, oracle cards and things like that. So there was this intuition inside of me, but at this stage of lostness and confusion about my life's path and my purpose, that's when all of these things started to become apparent and my intuition started to be louder more than ever. And all of my guides and angels and all these beautiful things started to come up in life, in my awareness, to help awaken me into this powerful guidance system that we all have. So we all have intuition. Every single one of us on this planet has intuition. It can be that gut feeling about being in a room and it feeling good, it feeling like, hey, let's get out of here. That gut instinct about people, about this person being someone that, is worth having in your life, and someone that, hey, like this person doesn't feel like they're in the most alignment. It can just come in whispers in so many different forms. And the more that we explore this intuitive power, especially in those moments where we're having now what moments of confusion, of lack of clarity, will allow us to have this guidance system that we can access to help us to navigate these times. So that can often cause our awakening, this questioning experience of our lives, about experiences, about the world at large. When we start to have these question marks, it awakens this curiosity inside of us, which can allow us to awaken this curiosity about the universe, about higher powers, and about our own personal power, which ignites us to step away from the traditional way of doing things and step into life on our terms, allowing us to step into the possibilities of our daydreams being a reality, the possibilities of us reaching our infinite potential on this earth and for humanity at large, and contributing to that greater scheme of things. So it's such a beautiful thing to question. It can feel so isolating you can feel so lost, so confused, anxious, depressed about life. I know I did in my experience. There was a lot of having the covers over my head and disconnecting from the world. But the more that you lean into the curiosity and say yes to opportunities and possibilities, you can get into this place of openness to receive this beautiful connection with your higher consciousness and with your higher self and your intuition, and really connect more and step into this guidance system. So you may be wondering, how do I access this intuitive power? How do I access this intuitive guidance system? And there are so many big and beautiful ways to tap into our intuition. But I would always recommend that you kind of lean into that curiosity, right? It may look different for everyone. Meditation may be something you're drawn to. Yoga might be something you're drawn to. Angel cards, pendulums, crystals, whatever it may be, lean into the curiosity of what feels good for you and allow these beautiful tools to give you a vehicle to access your intuition. So for me, when I started, Reiki was one of the first things that I became very curious about. And I worked with my Reiki master. She has been a guest on the podcast, so you're welcome to check that out, Melissa. But like Reiki became this like portal, this method and vehicle to really allowing myself to connect with my spiritual side. So that was my first step. Then it was cards and crystals that really came into that. Then it was meditation. So there was a lot of these tools that started to align that allowed me to access my intuitive power. But it's not a one size fits all journey. It's beautiful to hear all these beautiful spiritual teachers and people that I've come across in my journey that have their own unique story and path. So it's really leaning into that curiosity. So something to really ponder about is, how can I be more curious about my intuition? How can I be more curious about these tools that allow me to access it? And how can I connect more with my inner voice of my intuition? So intuition, intuitive voices, your higher self can really be like these quiet whispers that will give you this guidance system, or it can feel like this gut feeling that will lead you to make one decision over another, what is super clear. So you can even do this for like breakfast, right? Like what am I supposed to have for breakfast this morning? Am I supposed to have eggs, or am I supposed to have oatmeal? Whatever it may be, your two choices, right? Leaning into what feels the best. So once you start to understand how you feel, and feeling that like gravitational pull, if you will, that can be a guidance for day-to-day decision making. But it's important to be playful. It's important to remain open, because your mind is going to try and get you to stay in your comfort zone and disconnect you from it. That ego self is going to try and take you away from that intuitive power, because it wants to keep you safe. It wants to keep you in your comfort zone. So lean into that curiosity, approach it in a very playful way, and allow what feels good to guide you. Because what feels good, what feels enlightening, what feels expansive is often your method of connecting with your intuition. So that's what my path looked like. I started with Reiki, and then I started to collect crystals. I got gifted my first crystal from Melissa, my Reiki master. And then I got my first card deck, in which I pulled some cards from on a consistent basis and made that a tool in my toolbox. And then it was time for meditation. It was something I was definitely resistant to in the beginning, but tapping into that has been something that has really allowed my life to unfold in so many beautiful ways, and my business. I actually did a whole other episode about intuitive tools for your business, so you're welcome to check that out as well, and explore that more further. But if you're wanting support in your intuitive journey, in awakening your spiritual gifts, stepping into your higher purpose, creating that impactful business and fulfilling life, I'm here to support you. You're welcome to look in the description of this video or the show notes to see my website, CassandraRosa.com, to see all the wonderful ways that I can support you on your journey, and allow you to tap into your intuition. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you'll be notified every time I'll upload a new video on Thursday. See you in the next one. Bye.